Today we're going to be matchmaking every single UFC fighter from the main event of UFC 311 that just passed. We're going to see who should they fight next, what makes sense, even the winners, losers. Let's get straight to it. Starting with Islam Makhachev. We're going to start for the main event and work our way down for the main card, and that's it. Islam Makhachev. Islam should honestly fight, let's be honest, all the matchups that are in the lightweight division. There is no matchups that are good for Islam right now, other than the one that was originally supposed to happen. Arman. Islam should fight Arman. That's the fight that all intrigued us. It's the fight that made sense. It's the fight that we was like, okay, Islam, well, this is a good fight. Arman has the wrestling capability. He's not going to just be an easy sub like what we saw against Moicano in the main event, because he can stop that, at least make it longer, make it interesting. And the first fight was a good fight for me. We want to see the rematch. If there's going to be any rematch, we want to see the rematch for that one. And I feel like it would make sense, honestly, too. So, Islam and Arman, that's the next fight to make, honestly. You could even, it would be Islam going to 170, but the truth is he's not going to fight Belal. He's with it to fight Belal, but Belal's not going to want to do that. Obviously, he's going to jack that he trained with Khabib's camp and stuff like that, so that's whatever. Let's get right into Merab. Merab absolutely did that against Umar over this weekend. And I feel like, if looking at the bantamweight division, Merab has already beat everyone. There is no clear-cut contender. But if we're looking at a new matchup for Merab, I think if there is anyone to fight, it's this fighter should get one good win. All he needs is one good win from someone in the top 5, and this would make all the sense in the world. Corey Sandhagen. This is honestly the fight that they should make, but he needs a good win. He needs a win over like who in the top 5? He could fight O'Malley. He could do a rematch with Yan. He could fight Figgy. If he gets a good win over any of those, I think they should give him to Merab, because Merab has already fought and beat everyone else. And that'll be a good fight. Corey's not whack. He's actually extremely good, and wrestling is there. And if he's like locked in and really puts a game plan against Merab, it could be a decent fight. Merab's pace, the way he's looking right now, is on another level, but I still think this is the fight that they should make at 135. But obviously he needs to go win. Get him in there, and a good win soon. He needs to get matched up soon, and then obviously, like, not just right now. Yuri Prohaska, TKO KOs, Jamal Hill in the 3rd round, back and forth war. What a great fight. Honestly, Yuri's already at the top of the top. He's already beat Jamal. The only person ahead of him, I believe, is Ankalaev, and Ankalaev is about to fight Pereira. And you can't do the Pereira trilogy right now. You can't. Yuri needs to go on at least a good 2 to 3 win streak. He's already on one good finish over Jamal. That's great. He needs another good 1 more or 2 more to then get a rematch of, or not a rematch, but whoever is at the title. And if Ankalaev wins, they can even give Yuri that fight, or, depends how they mix it. But I feel like Yuri's next fight, honestly, should be Jan Blachowicz. The winner of Jan Blachowicz and Olberg. Whoever wins that fight should fight Yuri next. That fight is coming up soon. The Olberg is coming into his own, getting ranked up high, getting those high-ranked fighters. And if he could get past to Blachowicz, or if Blachowicz could get that win over him, give him to Yuri. They never fought before. High-ranked, good fight. And Blachowicz really is nice. People be sleeping on Blachowicz. Blachowicz is nasty. I feel like this would make all the sense in the world. The winner of Blachowicz and Olberg for Yuri's next fight. All right, let's go right to Jailton Almeida. And Jailton Almeida, he got performance of the night for a reason. He put hands on Spivak like we'd never seen him throw hands before. I've never seen Almeida. We always see the whack wrestling and him just keep on trying to take down over and over and not do nothing, not effective ground and pound. But he was coming to strike and put hands on Spivak. Spivak was doing decent, put it on him in the first round, a little bit ground and pound, but then he got up and started swinging at him. And I think, honestly, Jailton Almeida should fight Volkov next. Because it's like, let's be real. Volkov beat Cyril Gane. I know Almeida called out Cyril Gane, and that would be a good fight as well, but I feel like Volkov beat Cyril Gane. I feel like we all know that. It was a clear robbery, and Volkov has already fought a lot of the other fighters in the top 5, and Almeida is, I believe, 6 or 5, and they haven't fought before. And I think if Volkov could get through Almeida, then he's close to getting a title shot. Because let's be real, we need to count the Cyril Gane fight as a win. Cyril Gane did not win that fight, hands down. He did not win that fight. So I think Jailton Almeida and Volkov will be a good next fight for them to make. Now let's get to the losers of the night. Well, not the losers, but these are the losers, but then we're going to finish off with the last few fights. Renato Money Moicano. He got submitted first round. He looked good on the feet before, but then he got taken down and got darsed. But he was supposed to fight Dariush in the first place, and he wasn't training for Islam. He wasn't training for a 5-round fight, feel me? He's locked in on a camp with Dariush, and I feel like his next fight should be Dariush. I feel like that's honestly the fight to make. I feel like it was already a good stylistic matchup for both of them in the sense of they know how to strike well, their jiu-jitsu, and I feel like they can both present each other big problems in both realms, on the feet, on the ground, and I feel like there's a reason they matched it up in the first place, and I feel like this is the next fight to make. They should have, obviously it couldn't happen. The UFC fake did Benil dirty, but then they absolutely blessed giving him his show and win money. So he's bowling, but I think this is still the fight to make. Now on to the next one. Umar. He lost to Merab via decision. Merab outworked him. Umar broke his hand on Merab, the machine. And it's crazy. The odds were insane. I thought Umar was going to win because of the striking, because the all-around game. Merab actually did it, and he beat the Daggies. He broke the curse, and he absolutely did that. Merab is him. I can't even lie. And I feel like Umar's next fight should be looking at the rankings, looking at fights that make sense. There's a few different options, but I feel like he should fight Figgy next. I feel like him and Figgy will be a good fight. Both coming off losses. Figgy's in the top 5, and Peter Yan, everyone else is fighting up. So I feel like this would make the most sense for me. Give him someone like Figgy, and see where he could work. See where he goes from there for either fighter. They get another win, 2 wins, 3 wins on their way to the title shot. Umar's probably gonna need like 2 solid wins to get another try, but you never know. This bantamweight division is so stacked and anything can happen at any moment. But let's get right into Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill, it was a great fight. I'm not even gonna lie. People making it seem like Yuri was just putting it on him. No, it was back and forth, and Jamal Hill cracked Yuri multiple times. It was an absolute war, and I loved that fight. And Jamal Hill, there's one fight to make. Obviously, there's a few fights to make at lightweight, but this is heavyweight, but this is the best fight to make. And it was already gonna happen before, but it was on a cursed main event slot where they kept on getting injuries. And if you know what I'm talking about, it'll be Khalil Roundtree. This is who Jamal Hill needs to fight, hands down. Khalil Roundtree for sure. I feel like the styles, because of the fight that Khalil put against Pereira, and the fact that Jamal is not coming off of 2 back-to-back finish losses, and it was already going to happen. They made it for a reason because they knew that this would be a good fight, and I feel like they should just run this fight for sure. This could be a main event on a fight night somewhere, and this would honestly be a good fight. Great stylistic matchup. Let's get right to Sergey Spivak. Nice and simple. I feel like Sergey Spivak should fight Curtis Blades. For me, Curtis Blades is going to smoke that Russian guy that he fights next, and then he could fight Sergey Spivak. Nice and simple. Now let's get into the last few fights. Renier the Diddler. He destroyed my parlay out. Kevin Holland would never see another penny from me again in my life. I only bet on him like 2 or 3 times over all the years. But he's lost every single time. He's so inconsistent. It's always him getting destroyed. One of the most inconsistent fighters there is in the UFC roster, period. Like, genuinely. Like, Renier the Diddler. Give him Joe Pyfer. Boom. I feel like that'll be a good fight. Both unranked, both on the come up, and Piper's good on the feet. Piper's strong. He's not gonna just get submitted first round Kevin Holland style. He's a true middleweight, unlike Kevin Holland. Now let's get to Kevin Holland. Who should Kevin Holland fight next? He's making it seem like he doesn't want to go back to welterweight. He doesn't want to cut the weight, so he's gonna stay at middleweight. So let's give him one of the saltiest fighters there are in the roster, Chris Curtis. Let's give him Chris Curtis. And this will be a battle of just pure saltiness and hatred and jealousy and just bad energy. That's what that's a battle of. That could even be a main event. Put that shit a main event in like hell or somewhere. I'm trolling. And then I had to throw in Payton Talbot just because he's a prospect. People want to know about him. I feel like he's gonna learn a lot from this, and he's still gonna be nice, and he's still gonna be an up and coming fighter. So I feel like let's give him, boom, Rinya Nakamura, the other undefeated prospect that lost on the same card. It makes sense. They're both undefeated prospects. They both have like literally the same amount of fights. Both 135. Both people were high on them. Boom, that'll be a fire matchup. Really put it on them early. They already lost, so that undefeated thing is already lost. Give it to them. Boom. Let's do this. That was me matchmaking every single fighter after the UFC 311. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Join the MMA gang. We all in this together. The violence is back. UFC is finally back. We have a few good cards. They just announced Dan Hooker and who was it? Gaethje and Pereira and Ankalaev. It's gonna happen. Pereira's gonna starch him. I hope you all enjoyed.